Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome back to our channel. We're back with another 5 weekly favorites. We have felt so bad that we haven't done one of these in so long.
I know.
We've just been having a lot going on, summer travel, all that jazz. So a lot of these favorites have been going on for weeks, but like not enough to make it into a monthly favorites, I guess, essentially. The first one is the gluten-free Chetty Mac Goodles. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you know that we love Goodles. We've tried all of them except for the vegan one, which we should probably try just to see how it is.
Yeah.
And I did a TikTok ranking them as well. Like, we have thoughts on them, but we love them all. And they came out with 2 gluten-free options, the Chetty Mac and then the vegan. And we've been loving this. Like, it's the most like real pasta out of any gluten-free noodle I've tried.
Yeah, and we're not gluten-free, but whenever we find gluten-free things, it's like always nice that we like. And we, for some reason, think that this noodle is better than the normal Goodle.
It's almost like heartier, if that makes sense, and like the way it mixes with the cheese.
I feel like it's like how al dente it is versus the other Goodles. Like, this feels like a more like al dente pasta.
Yeah, it's a little more rigid. It's delicious. We just got the 6-pack on Amazon. We took a gamble because we hadn't tried them, but we do love it. So we'll probably just keep ordering it on Amazon. But I think they have it at Whole Foods too.
Yes. Okay, an eyeshadow favorite. MAC was having a 40% off sale like a week, 2 weeks ago. So I got a couple things, and one of them is this Sweet Heat Extra Dimension eyeshadow. Kate on here, State of Kate, has talked about this for years. I feel like I watched her talk about it like 3 years ago and I've wanted it since. Since it was on sale, I picked it up. It's made in Italy, and so it's definitely, I believe, the same manufacturer as the Tom Ford Wet to Dry eyeshadows, and it has like a similar texture. And so I tried this. We were just in Wisconsin visiting family, and I wore it on like a day where I wasn't wearing a ton of makeup, dry, so just like in the pan on my eyes, and I liked it. It added like a nice sheen. It's kind of like a, I don't know how to describe this color.
Well, you should insert a swatch.
Okay, I'll insert a swatch. But I liked it, but then we went to our friend's wedding reception last Saturday, and I applied it wet, so I doused my brush in Fix Plus and then put it in here and then applied it. And I applied it on top of a MAC paint pot because my eyelids always crease. And at the end of the night, this hadn't creased with the paint pot, and it still looked like highly reflective, so shiny, so pretty, like beautiful shimmer. It was just really, really beautiful, and I'm so happy I got this. I really love it so far. Highly recommend. It's a really nice like summer shadow too, for like summer events, because it has like that high reflective look, but it's not like a super bold color. Love it. I also got Soft and Gentle highlighter, but I'm still testing that, so I wanted to call out the eyeshadow since I've worn it a few times.
I bought this Pause journal. I've heard about it years ago from someone, and I had it saved. Oh, I got something on it. I had it saved on Amazon. And I wanted a new journal that was kind of like the gratitude journal that everyone has been, I feel like has been talking about lately, but I used that a couple years ago, and I like that, but it's the same prompts every day. And I like Pause because it's weekly, so I usually do it every Friday, and they ask you different questions, and it's like a time to pause and reflect on the week that just went past. And I like the questions they ask. They're very thoughtful and purposeful, and I just have been really liking this as part of my like weekly routine, and it's really beautiful. I don't know what I got on it. I just keep it on my bookcase, and then I whip it out every Friday, and I can't recommend it enough. It is really pricey, so I waited until it went on sale on Amazon and got it for like less than $20, but it is nice. Obviously, it's like almost like a linen material, and I can just give you like a sneak peek at, like, see, this one says week 18. And then there's all these questions, but like I said, the prompts are different every week. Okay, next up is a podcast favorite, which it's really hard for us to find new podcasts we like. I feel like you never really try new ones.
Yeah, but we both started listening to That Was Us, which is the This Is Us Rewatch Recap podcast. And Sterling Brown, Mandy Moore, and, oh my god, what's his name?
Chris Sullivan?
Yeah, Chris Sullivan are the hosts. So they played Rebecca, Randall, and Toby on the show, and they do a really good job of like partly recapping the episodes. Like, they started with the pilot. I think they're on episode 7 already. But then they also, like, intertwine how they can relate to their characters in real life, or, like, the big focus of each episode, like, how they can relate to that. Because that show is so, like, human, and I think that that's what made it so special, is people could relate to so many different aspects. Like, they talk on one of the episodes about how there's so many points of entry for that show, because there's so many characters and there's so many things going on that, like, people can connect to certain parts of it that other people can't connect to, and so, like, everyone had found a way in, basically. And I thought that that was so true, and it was what made the show, like, so popular. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about it is just that the way it's, like, half recapping and half their personal stories and anecdotes that, like, tie into the episode and the theme. But I also just like the structure. We listened to a few recap episodes, not a few, I just do. Office Ladies obviously is my favorite, and then the Glee one with Jenna and Kevin, and I love them, but I always complain that there's no structure, and sometimes they barely recap the episode, so if you don't actually rewatch it, you kind of have no idea what they're talking about. Whereas with this one, I don't feel like I need to go back and rewatch it. Like, they explain what's going on so well that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that episode. And even if you don't, the way they're explaining it, you know what's going on. So I really like that. And, like, at the very top of each episode, they do a quick, like, 1 to 2 sentence summary of the episode, so you immediately know what's going to happen. So all in all, I think it's really well done, like, so well produced.
Also, when Office Ladies first started, I know we've talked about this, but there was, like, some bumps in the road, and I think it's just always really hard when you have 2 people. Like, even when we first started filming our YouTube videos, even now, we still sometimes talk over each other, but it's really difficult. And the fact that they have 3 hosts, but they somehow leave space for each other is so impressive. Like, right off the bat, I noticed that. Like, no one was talking over anyone else. No one was really, like, running the conversation. Like, they're so good at that.
They have great chemistry.
Yeah, really impressive. And I've been watching them on YouTube because I discovered that they put them all so far on YouTube, which I like so much more than just listening to the podcast. So, recommend.
Yeah. And last is our show favorite. It's, like, our current show as of late, because summertime is kind of the off season for television. But we started Presumed Innocent on Apple TV, and no spoilers because we never watched the movie. There's a movie version with Harrison Ford, and I believe it's based on a book, correct? And so we never saw the movie, but it was a big film, and so I feel like most people who are watching the show probably knows what happened, but we do not, because we're only, I think, halfway through, or almost halfway through. We have 2 episodes to catch up on. We're gonna do that tonight. But it's starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and he basically plays an attorney in Chicago who is convicted of unaliving his co-worker whom he was having an affair with. So, crazy stuff. But Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he's one of the best actors of our time. I think we can all agree on that. We love him. And his character I don't love so much, but it's a good suspenseful show.
It is. You don't really know what's happening.
Yeah. Like, there's kind of been, like, a curveball at the end of each episode, and I like that because it makes me want to keep watching. Obviously, that's purposeful.
Okay, and that's it for our 5 weekly favorites. Again, we're so sorry that we have neglected this series for, like, a month now, but we will try to be back more regularly, and thank you guys so much for all your sweet messages saying you missed us.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate it.